Kaboom.
In the bottom right of Catalina, it is our red Protoss player. Also from Felicity, huh? Go figure. Vergilius.
Whoa.
I did not realize that right away.
And spawning in the top center-ish position on Catalina, we have our green Zerg player, representing no one but himself. We have TentatvePnda, who's missing quite a few vowels in his name.
Don't think too hard about it. Is the overlay still up?
No, the overlay is not up.
It's not up. Okay.
The game is there.
Smats or Z, shame on you. All right, moving on. Nothing particularly crazy going on over here.
I transitioned it over, I promise.
You did?
I did, because I went Control Shift O, Control Shift S, Shift Alt 3, and then I looked over at the other screen and saw it transition over. So I
Okay.
know it worked. I know it worked.
You know it worked?
I
Are you
know it worked
100%
for a
certain?
fact. I am 100% certain.
All right,
The only way for me
Smats.
to prove it is to kick up the stream, and then there would just be this feedback and audio thing until I mute it. It's just unprofessional.
Oh, Smats.
Auntie's got our back. He's like, stream is good, guys.
Yes, he is.
He's
Yes,
just
he
like, quit your
does.
fretting. All right, so this early drone scout for Tentative Panda is actually going to see the Forge Fast expand. It looks like it's going to
Whoa!
be at
Ah!
least Forge first.
Forge
There's
fast
a lot of
expanding. Also got a back rub from the probes right there.
yeah, a
Not
little
the
bit of a
friendly
tickle.
kind, kind of more like the someone jumping on your back and injuring you kind.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
that's okay. He's a drone. He'll regenerate pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's thinking about. For a second, I'm like, is he gonna actually steal the? That would be kind of funny. But no, he is going through the usual motions. I think that's hatch first back home, which is actually a little bit surprising. You can tell he's going out of his way to make sure that he's actually checking for the potential cannon rush because that is a little bit of a risk. When you see your opponent going forge fast expand, you go hatch first, then you got to be wary of that cannon rush.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're really, really cognizant about the probes that might be in or around your base, which there appear to be none in this particular case, getting that second hatch right away is super important. Merely because
Mm.
of the fact that a two base Protoss will crush you if you're not keeping up with bases and getting ahead as fast as possible.
Sure, sure. Especially if they end up going for a very, very much aggressive strategy, something along the lines of, say, the 7 or 8 gates, something like that. You do need to keep up with them in that case pretty well.
Yep, but it looks like this is going to be a pretty reserved, just one gate right after the expand goes down, followed up by a photon cannon. It looks like Vergilius is going to be playing a little bit
Yep.
reserved.
Pretty much, build-wise, what you want to be looking at here is, he's going to get the cybernetics core down pretty quickly after the gateway finishes, or at least he should. And then we'll see him decide what tech he's going to go into between 30 and 40 supply. And otherwise, it's going to be kind of on the pretty much for the Protoss, the ball's kind of in his court. He can't really do much scouting here. He has the probe out there. If it runs back in, it's probably going to die. If there are any lings out, if there's well-positioned queens, he basically gets one more scout with that thing, or he uses the hide pylons. So in other words, he does information. So the next piece of tech he's going to grab is going to have to help him do that in some way.
Yep, definitely. I mean, we see one zealot coming out from Vergilius. I would love to see Tentative Panda get just a handful of Zerglings. I'm talking like less than 8,
Sure, sure.
like six, probably 6 Zerglings, and then immediately expand again. Especially if he doesn't see any pylons near his base, because it's just if you can get that quick macro going as a Zerg player and get a third base up and running, it's super easy and uh, super, yeah, it's super easy. I don't know where I'm going with this statement. It's super easy to defend against early pressure because you can immediately tech up to lair. You can get Hydras out, and Hydras can deal with a lot of the early Protoss nonsense.
I gotta say, I really like what Vergilius is doing here. You'll notice that he's actually using the probe to check for the thirds over and over again. He's trying to get an idea of what the timing is for that. And I tell you that each minute that goes by and you don't see that third base, you start to get increasingly more and more paranoid as a Protoss player. You're like, okay, what is he doing? What is he doing with all that gas he's building up? What is he doing with is he getting a lair? Is he building up his tech? Is he hiding a base somewhere on the other end of the map? I don't know. Ah, Meanwhile, on the other end of things, Tentative Panda is thinking, kind of need to know what's going on in the Protost's base. And if we do check over here, we'll see that it's actually just a bunch of gateways. He hasn't picked up a Robo, he hasn't picked up a Stargate or anything. And at this point, what that's kind of screaming to me is he's looking for a gateway. He's looking for a warp gate timing of some kind, pretty much. He doesn't really have the tech to do anything else, so this game's gonna kind of get fired up into gear pretty quickly.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, as Tentative Panda, if he had taken a third, he'd be able to flood roaches right now, and just shut down anything that could come at him. I mean, he's got a pretty decent bank built up. He's a little bit close on supply.
Twilight Council. So he's looking at Blink here, more than likely. Yeah, he's not really banking the kind of gas necessary, I think, to go down the Archon or DT route, but I guess technically still possible.
Okay, so Vergilius knows that this pylon's here, and he's actually got his roaches out, and he's going to stop this first wave of zealots.
Ooh, nice like micro too. Might see if he can save the roach. Can he do it? Yeah.
Saves the roach. Very nice.
This is a pretty frustrating position to be in as Vergilius. He's also just lost that pylon, and he's now starting to go down to the Robotech, but I feel like this might be a little late. And he's also kind of supply blocked at the moment, which is not really helping things.
Yeah, that killing that pylon, especially as a Protoss player, if you're depending on that front pylon to keep your supply, keep your head above water when it comes to the supply race, and it gets found and sniped early, like it just did, it really puts you on the back foot with that.
It's like, oh wait, my bad. I was actually reading Tentative Panda's supply. He's the one with supply luck. So my bad on that. But Vergilius, though, it is true though. Losing that front pylon is still a big deal. He thankfully still has the probe on the map, so he's rebuilding one another to the top left of the map as well as one a little closer to the base. So he does have some harassment potential there. But he's in kind of an awkward position now. He's kind of doing a lot here. He's got the Robo. He's getting the DT Shrine. It's kind of late now. He's pretty secure up here, but he needs to break out of here pretty soon and grab a third. That's got to be pretty high on his priorities list. That or kill the Zerg. He's got to do one or the other very quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, what's going to happen is he's not going to be able to get out for a long time coming. At least not without risking anything too crazy. The Hallucinated Phoenix. I like how the Hallucinated Phoenix, when it attacks, blinks red on the map. So it draws they're on the mini map, so it draws my attention to it, even though it's
pretty much
whatever.
Though I gotta say, at the same time, that's probably this is probably not that bad, not as bad as it would be, just because Tentative Panda's just been so tentative about taking his third. So he's actually not. Vergilius is not in quite as much of a rush as he might be normally. In fact, he's warping in 2 DTs to get to work on this base right away, along with 4 zealots. At least those are zealots, yes. Oh no, the DTs are going to go further into the base while the zealots attack the third to try and draw their attention there, but the DTs have been sighted, and he's trying to hold position, block them out. He's successfully done this.
Yes, he does. And now the DTs are going to start shredding this up while we wait for an Overseer to pop. The Overseer's going to pop, and then he's going to start moving the army around. Meanwhile, the Zealots are definitely doing some work to this hatchery here.
The unfortunate thing is he was so concerned about the DTs that he's actually going to lose this hatchery unless he has some queens. No! Focus the hatchery! Focus the hatchery, Vergilius! Vergilius! Oh my goodness, no! Oh, that is tragedy.
Oh my god, saved it at one of the most epic health ever. It stopped at 69 and is beginning to regenerate now.
Of course, he's got these 2 pylons here, so he can't even warp an ADT, and it will probably kill the thing. So, that's really unfortunate, though. He definitely should have had that. Oh, that hurts.
He actually spent a lot of his resources to warp a couple of DTs back home to turn them into Archon. So it looks like he's definitely taken that jump forward to move down towards that, Protoss Death Ball-y type thing. I think he was honestly just expecting to get a lot more work done with that DT push.
Yeah, the thing is, though, he kind of has to make something work right now, and these mutas are going to put a really, really, really huge hole in this plan. They're going to be all over his base. They're going to be breaking things everywhere, and there's really a lot he can do to stop it so great. He's going to trap him at home at the very least as soon as this gets to his base. What he really wants Tentative Panda to do, actually, is to attack his army directly. If he does that, he has some chance because he's got these Archons in play. So, yeah, he's going to go for the attack. Looks like he wants to basically, if he can force the engagement at his base, get some work done. I think he's just moving up here to try and finish off this hatchery, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if he rolls in with this massive death army, that Immortal can walk in and hit it twice and it'll just disappear. for
Fortunately,
him.
there's no mothership core here, so he's committing his entire army to do this. So if he's okay, kind of walking on top of the Archons with the Mutas, not doing so great there. The Roach is getting kind of force fielded out, but he is doing a decent amount of work on the ground army, and now the Archons and Zealots are kind of blocked out by the force fields.
Yeah,
There he goes, good the trapping there.
honestly, in this position, there's a lot of roaches here, but I mean, those Archons are just doing so much work to
Oh
this
man.
stuff. There's a lot of Stalkers still on the field. That Immortal didn't get picked off right away. And what's going to end up happening is TentatvePnda loses the hatchery. He's going to lose his entire standing ground army, and he's going to end up GGing out when he could have just stood back a little bit, let that hatch fall, and then be put into a position that's a little more friendly for himself. Good, high ground positioning to be able to defend off that